Hello everyone, welcome to Anatophysio Hub. This is 8th video of Region of Upper Limb video series. In this video we learn about anatomy of hand. Okay, hand is located at distal end of the upper limb. You can see this is hand. It is functional importance mainly in finger grip between thumb and index finger. And hand has two surfaces, palmar surface and dorsal surface. Palmar surface is anterior or ventral side. You can see this is palmar surface, and dorsal surface is the posterior side. Okay, now we learn about skin of hand. There are two types skin, palm skin and dorsum skin. Palm skin is thick, hairless, tightly bound to fascia via fibrous band, contain flexor or palmar creases and many sweat glands. Function is improve grip. And dorsum skin is thin, hairy, loose and mobile. Skin loose over tendon and involved to flexibility during extension. Now we learn about deep fascia of the hand. Deep fascia forms important structures. Example is palmar aponeurosis. You can see this is the dorsum of hand. Okay, now we learn about palmar aponeurosis. Palmar aponeurosis, you can see this is palmar aponeurosis. It has triangular shape and located central palm, and it has two parts, apex and base. Apex attached to distal border of flexor retinaculum and palmaris longus tendon insertion. You can see this is palmaris longus tendon and this is flexor retinaculum. And this is base. Base divided into 4 slips, one for each finger. Okay, you can see this is palm aponeurosis. Actually it has two fibers, longitudinal fibers and transverse fibers. And functions are anchor skin and improve grip and protect underlying tendons, nerves and vessels. Okay, now we learn about clinical correlation related to palm aponeurosis. It is Dupuytren contraction. You can see this is Dupuytren's contraction. It is fibrosis and thickening of palm aponeurosis. Usually start at ring finger and later involve little finger. And finger get flexed at metacarpophalangeal joint and proximal interphalangeal joint later, but distal interphalangeal joint remain extant. And treatments are surgical release of fibrous band and collagenase enzyme injection, because collagenase enzyme break down collagen of palmar aponeurosis. Okay, now we learn about facial space of palm or deep space of palm. These are potential space filled with loose connective tissue, and these are important in spread of infection. And deep space of the palm boundaries by three septums. They are medial fibrous septum, lateral fibrous septum and oblique fibrous septum. Medial fibrous septum from palm aponeurosis to fifth metacarpal. Lateral fibrous septum from palm aponeurosis to first metacarpal. And oblique fibrous septum from palm aponeurosis to third metacarpal. So these boundaries or these septums divide palm into two major spaces. They are thinner space and mid palm space. Thinner space located laterally and the mid palm space located medially. Okay, you can see these are the boundaries. This is palm aponeurosis and this is lateral fibrous septum. It is extend palm aponeurosis to first metacarpal. And this is medial fibrous septum, extend from palm aponeurosis to fifth metacarpal. And this is oblique fibrous septum, extend from palm aponeurosis to third metacarpal. And this is thinner space lateral side and this is mid palm space medial side. Okay, thinner space contain first lumbrical and located deep to flexor tendon of index and thumb, and mid-palm space contains second and fourth lumbricals and located deep to flexor tendon of third to fifth fingers. And lumbrical canal contain tendon of lumbricals and it is continuation into digits. Okay, you can see this is thinner space. It is located deep to long flexor tendon of index finger and flexor pollicis longus tendon. And this is mid palm space. It is located deep to flexor tendon of 3 to 5 fingers. And you can see this is lumbrical canal. It is continuation to digits or fingers. Proximally both spaces are closed by carpal tunnel and distally communicate with lumbricals canal. You can see these are lumbricals canal. Okay, now we learn about pulp space of fingers. They are located in distal phalanx region. You can see this is pulp space located in distal phalanx region, and deep fascia attached to periosteum form closed space filled with fat. You can see this is pulp space and contain terminal branch of digital artery. You can see this is terminal branch of digital artery and separated by fibrous vertical septa. You can see this is fibrous vertical septa separate pulp spaces. Okay, now we learn about clinical note related to pulp space of fingers. It is phelon, also called pulp space infection. Causes needle or pinprick injuries and result in intense thrombin pain and swelling due to buildup of pus in tight space. And it leads to two risks: necrosis of terminal phalanx, especially in children due to compress of digital artery, and infection is spread to digital synovial sheath and bone, and also it leads to dorsal hand swelling because dorsal skin is loose. And treatments are required: early drainage to prevent bone infection, osteomyelitis. Okay, now we learn about fibrous flexure sheaths. They are found on anterior surface of each finger. You can see this is fibrous flexor sheath and runs from head of metacarpal to base of distal phalanx and form strong fibrous tunnel attached to phalanx. And function is protect long flexor tendon and maintain their position against bones during flexion. Fibrous flexor sheath of thumb contain one tendon, it is flexor pollicis longus, and fibrous flexor sheaths of other fingers contain two fingers. They are flexor digitorum superficialis and flexor digitorum profundus. Okay, you can see this is fibrous flexor sheath cover the synovial sheath. Inside synovial sheath there is tendons. They are flexor digitorum superficialis and flexor digitorum profundum tendons. Okay, you can see this is fibrous flexor sheath, and inside fibrous flexor sheath there is digital synovial sheath. This is a digital synovial sheath. Inside synovial sheath there is long flexor tendons. Okay, now we learn about synovial flexor sheaths. These are allow smooth gliding of flexor tendon with minimal frictions. Two main synovial sheath in palms. They are common flexor synovial sheath. This is common flexor synovial sheath, also called ulna bursa, and flexor pollicis longus synovial sheath, or also called radial bursa. These are main two flexor sheaths in palm. Common flexor synovial sheath or ulna bursa surrounds flexor digitorum superficialis and flexor digitorum profundum tendons and continue into little finger. You can see it continue into little finger. And flexor pollicis longus synovial sheath or radial bursa surround thumb tendons. Actually flexor pollicis longus tendon. In 50% of individual, ulnar and radial bursa communicate at the wrist, so infection can spread between them. And there is additional structures related to synovial flexure sheath. It is called vincula. There are two types, vincula longa and vincula brevia. They are fold-like extension of synovial membrane and function is carry blood vessel to flexor tendon. Yes, you can see this is cross-section of synovial flexure sheaths. This is cross-section of synovial flexure sheaths. You can see this is tendon and this is synovial flexure sheaths. So it's allow smooth gliding of flexor tendon with minimal friction. Okay. You can see this is digital synovial sheath and this is ulnar bursa or common flexor synovial sheath. This is radial bursa or synovial sheath for flexor pollicis longus tendon. And this synovial sheath covered by fibril flexure sheath in fingers and fibrous flexure sheath give protection for the synovial sheath. Okay, now we learn about clinical condition related to synovial sheath. This is called tenosynovitis. It is infection of synovial tendon sheath or synovial flexure sheath. You can see this is infection of synovial tendon sheath. It is called tenosynovitis. Cause is penetrating injury like needles, thorns and also spread from pulp space infection. And symptoms are finger held semiflexed, pain on extension and swollen and tender. And there is special spread pattern. Index finger spread to thinner space. Ring finger spread to mid palm space. Middle finger spread to both thinner and mid palm space. And little finger spread to ulnar bursa. Then ulnar bursa spread to forearm via space of peroneum. And thumb is spread to radial bursa and radial bursa is spread to forearm via space of peroneum. Okay, now we learn about muscle classification of hand. Muscles of hand divide into two groups. They are extrinsic muscle and intrinsic muscles. Extrinsic muscles are origin in forearm and insertion in hand via long tendons. Intrinsic muscles are origin within hand and insertion within hand. Extrinsic muscles are flexor digitorum superficialis, flexor digitorum profundus. Extrinsic muscle already learned in forearm region. Intrinsic muscle examples are lumbricals and interosseous, and also there are many muscles in hand region. We learn about intrinsic muscles because extrinsic muscle we already done in the forearm region. Also, there are 5 osseofacial compartments in hand. They are thinner compartment, hypothinner compartment, central or mid-palm compartment, interosseous compartment and dorsal or extensor compartment. This dorsal compartment is actually extrinsic muscle. In this video, we not learn about dorsal or extensor compartment because it is already done in forearm region. And there is one additional muscle excluded from this compartment. It is palmaris brevis. It is a small superficial muscle in the hypothinner area. It is superficial muscle and attached to palmar aponeurosis and skin, and function is improve grip by wrinkle skin, and nerve supply is superficial branch of ulnar nerve. So palmaris brevis is superficial muscle. It is excluded from these compartments. Okay, now we expand each compartment. First one is thinner compartment. Thinner compartment innervated by recurrent branch of median nerve and contain three muscles: flexor pollicis brevis, abductor pollicis brevis, and opponens pollicis. Second one is hypothenor compartment innervated by deep branch of ulnar nerve and contain three muscles: flexor digiti minimi brevis, abductor digiti minimi, and opponens digiti minimi. Central compartment or mid-palmar compartment, it contains two muscles, lumbricals and tendon of long extrinsic digital flexors such as flexor digitorum superficialis, flexor digitorum profundus and flexor pollicis longus. These are extrinsic muscle in forearm. And the lumbrical muscles. First and second lumbricals or lateral two lumbricals innervated by median nerve, and third and fourth lumbricals or medial two lumbricals innervated by deep branch of ulnar nerve. Interosseous compartment contain three muscles: adductor pollicis, palmar interosseous and dorsal interosseous, and innervated by deep branch of ulnar nerve. Okay. Dorsal or extensor compartment contain tendon of long extrinsic digital extensors in forearm, so no entrixin motor nerve supply in the hands, because these extrinsic muscles or extrinsic extensors innervated by radial nerve in forearm. Okay, now we expand each muscle. First one is palmaris brevis. It is origin from palm aponeurosis of flexor retinaculum and insert to dermis of skin on the medial margin of hand. Innervated by superficial branch of ulnar nerve. Function is improve grip by wrinkle skin. Okay, you can see this is palmaris brevis muscle. Origin from flexor retinaculum and palm aponeurosis and insert to skin. Second muscle is dorsal interosseous. There are four dorsal interosseous origin from adjacent sides of metacarpal and insert to extensor hood or extensor expansion and base of proximal phalanx innervated by deep branch of ulnar nerve. Function is adduct fingers. Second one is palmar interosseous. There are four palmar interosseous origin from side of metacarpals and insert to extensor hood or extensor expansion innervated by deep branch of ulnar nerve and function is adduct finger. Palmar interosseous adduct fingers and dorsal interosseous abduct fingers, and these interosseous innervated by deep branch of ulnar nerve. Okay, you can see this is dorsal interosseous and this is palmar interosseous. Dorsal interosseous origin from metacarpals and insert to extensor expansion. Palmar interosseous origin from metacarpals and insert to extensor expansion. Palmar interosseous action in adduction and dorsal interosseous action in abduction of fingers. Next muscle is adductor pollicis. It has two head, transverse head and oblique head. Transverse head origin from third metacarpal, oblique head origin from capitate base of second and third metacarpal, and insert to base of proximal phalanx and extensor hood of thumb. Innervated by deep branch of ulnar nerve. Function is adduct thumb. So adductor pollicis function is adduct thumb. You can see this is adductor pollicis muscles. It has two head. Transverse head has an oblique head. Transverse head origin from third metacarpal and oblique head origin from base of the third metacarpal, capitate and base of the second metacarpal, and insert to extensor expansion and base of proximal phalanx of thumb. So action is adduct thumb. Next muscle is lumbricals. There are 4 lumbricals. Origin from tendon of flexor digitorum profundus and insert to extensor expansion or extensor hood of medial 4 fingers. Lateral 2 lumbricals or first and second lumbrical innervated by digital branch of median nerve, and third and fourth or medial 2 lumbricals innervated by deep branch of ulnar nerve. The function of lumbricals are flex metacarpophalangeal joint and extend interphalangeal joint. Okay, you can see this is lumbricals. This one and this one lateral 2 lumbricals. This one and this one medial 2 lumbricals. Lateral 2 lumbricals supplied by digital branch of median nerve and medial 2 lumbricals supplied by deep branch of ulnar nerve. Okay, you can see these are floor umbilicals. This is first, this is second, this is third, and this is fourth. First and second called lateral 2 lumbricals. It is unipennate, and third and fourth are medial 2 lumbricals. They are bipennate. So third and fourth lumbricals are bipennate. First and second lumbricals are unipennate. First and second lumbricals innervated by digital branch of median nerve, and fourth and third and fourth lumbrical innervated by deep branch of ulnar nerve. Function is flexion at metacarpophalangeal joint and extend at proximal and distal interphalangeal joint. They are origin from flexor digitorum profundus tendon and insert to extensor expansion or extensor hood. Yes, you can see this is dorsal interosseous and palmar interosseous. Dorsal interosseous, these muscles are bipennate and action is abduction. You can memorize it DAB. Dorsal interosseous abduction, and these are palmar interosseous muscle. Palmar interosseous unipennate and action is adduction. So you can memorize is PAD. Palmar interosseous adduction, DAB, dorsal interosseous abduction. Palmar interosseous are unipennate, dorsal interosseous are bipennate. Okay, now we expand thinner muscles. All thinner muscles are innervated by common nerve. It is recurrent branch of median nerve. First one is opponent's policy, origin from trapezius and flexor retinaculum and insert to metacarpal, first metacarpal. Innervated by recurrent branch of median nerve, function is opposition of thumb or medial rotation of thumb. Second one is abductor pollicis brevis. This one, abductor pollicis brevis. Origin from scaphoid trapezium and flexor retinaculum and insert to extensor hood of thumb and proximal phalanx. Innervated by recurrent branch of median nerve, function is abduct thumb at metacarpophalangeal joint. So opponent's pollicis function is opposition of thumb, abductor pollicis thumb is abduction of thumb. And third one is flexor pollicis brevis, origin from trapezium and flexor retinaculum, insert to proximal phalanx of thumb, and innervated by recurrent branch of median nerve. Function is flexus thumb and metacarpophalangeal joint. This joint, metacarpophalangeal joint. Again, all thinner muscles are innervated by common nerve. It is recurrent branch of median nerve. And opponent's pollicis function is medial rotation of thumb or opposition of thumb. Abductor pollicis brevis function is abduct thumb at metacarpophalangeal joint. And flexor pollicis brevis function is flexus thumb at metacarpophalangeal joint. Okay, now we expand hypothenar muscle. There are 3 hypothenar muscle: opponent's digiti minimi, abductor digiti minimi, and flexor digiti minimi. And all hypothenar muscles innervated by common nerve. It is deep branch of ulnar nerve. An opponens digiti minimi origin from hook of hamate and flexor retinaculum and insert to fifth metacarpal. Innervated by deep branch of ulnar nerve, function is opposition of little finger or lateral rotation of fifth metacarpal. Second one is abductor digiti minimi. This is abductor digiti minimi origin from pisiform and tendon of flexocarpi ulnaris and insert to proximal phalanx of little finger. Innervated by deep branch of ulnar nerve, function is abduct little finger at metacarpophalangeal joint. This joint metacarpophalangeal joint. Third one is flexor digiti minimi brevis. This is flexor digiti minimi brevis. It is origin from hook of hamate and flexor retinaculum and insert to proximal phalanx of little finger. Innervated by deep branch of ulnar nerve. Function is flexus little finger at metacarpophalangeal joint. Again, all hypothenar muscle innervated by common nerve. It is deep branch of ulnar nerve. Opponens digiti minimi. Function is opposition of little finger. Abductor digiti minimi. Function is abduct little finger at metacarpophalangeal joint. And flexor digiti minimi. Function is flexus little finger at metacarpophalangeal joint. This is metacarpophalangeal joint between metacarpal and proximal phalanx. Okay, now we learn about lone flexor tendon insertion. Flexor digitorum superficialis tendon is split at proximal phalanx and insert to side of middle phalanx. And flexor digitorum profundus continuous to split and insert at distal phalanx. Yes, in this diagram you can understand this is flexor digitorum superficialis tendon and this is flexor digitorum profundus tendon. Flexor digitorum superficialis tendon divide into split at proximal phalanx and insert to side of middle phalanx. And flexor digitorum profundus gone through the split, this point gone through the split and insert to base of the distal phalanx. Again, this is flexor digitorum superficialis tendon. This is flexor digitorum profundus tendon. Flexor digitorum superficialis tendon is split at proximal phalanx and insert to side of middle phalanx. And flexor digitorum profundus go through the slipped and insert to base of the distal phalanx. Okay, and next we learn about lone extensor tendon insertion. Extensor tendon form extensor expansion, also called dorsal hood or extensor hood. You can see this is extensor expansion or extensor hood. Insert via two slips, central slip and lateral slip. Central slip insert to middle phalanx and lateral slip insert to distal phalanx. You can see this is extensor expansion. It is formed by extensor tendon and it insert via two slips, central slip and lateral slip. Central slip insert to middle phalanx and the lateral slip insert to distal phalanx. Okay, and there are additional slip, lumbrical slip and interosseous slip. Lumbrical slip connect with the lumbricals and the interosseous slips connect with the interosseous muscles. So you can understand receive contribution from lumbricals and interosseous because lumbrical slip connect with lumbricals and interosseous slip connect with interosseous muscle. Okay, again this is extensor expansion or extensor hood formed by extensor digitorum tendon and it has two slips, central slip and lateral slip. Central slip insert to middle phalanx and the lateral slip, this is lateral slip insert to distal phalanx and the central slip insert to middle phalanx. This is extensor expansion and also connect with lumbricals and interosseous via lumbrical slips and interosseous slips. Okay, and there is few clinical condition: mallet finger and bottom-ear deformity. Mallet finger causes rupture of distal extensor insertion. Rupture of distal extensor insertion. You can see in this band, rupture of distal extensor insertion, and it leads to loss of distal interphalangeal extension. Yes, you can understand that during mallet finger, rupture of this point, distal extensor insertion. So features is loss of distal interphalangeal extension. And second condition is bottom-ear deformity, cause is rupture of central slips. In this point, rupture of central slip. So it leads to proximal interphalangeal joint flexion due to unopposed flexor action, and distal interphalangeal joint leads to hyperextension. Again, bottom-ear deformity, rupture of central slips. This point rupture, and it leads to proximal phalanx flexion due to unopposed flexor action, and distal interphalangeal joint hyperextension. Okay. And finally, thank you, best wishes. Subscribe my channel, like and share this video.